Hi leaders, I'm Sherelle Whitney from Lift Performance Solutions, and this is one of 7 videos giving you 7 little tips, or what I call little lifts, in relation to staying connected during the coronavirus unprecedented challenging environment that we are all experiencing at the moment. So no matter what industry you're in, you'll find these 7 tips are very practical to you. They're simple tools that you can put into practice right away, and they allow you to create a connected environment with your team, with your stakeholders, with your customers, with your board, and with your colleagues, and with yourself. Because as leaders, we are the ones being looked to for clarity, for calm, and for courage. We need to continue to engage. We need to continue to be influencing the things that we can, and we need to get our energy from somewhere. So I'm hoping that Lift provides you with these free little lifts that help you stay connected with yourself, with your team. This is little lift tip number 6 in relation to connection, and this tip is about seeking ideas. So in our practice at Lift, we focus on courage, connection, and agility. And in the current environment of coronavirus, there is no more essential skill than seeking ideas, because this is an unprecedented challenge that we're all facing globally. And in our circles of control and influence, what we can do is encourage our team leaders like yourselves, our teams, our CEOs, our boards, our stakeholders, our customers, patients, clients, everyone around us to think innovatively. And who has to encourage and facilitate that environment? You do, as the leader. So what I would suggest to you is talking to your team about things that we know are working well so we can keep doing them, things that we want to start doing differently, and things that we want to stop doing that in this new environment are not working. And so that we can create an agile environment that changes and pivots, and we can create that innovative thinking. So 3 little tips in one really here is to seek ideas from your team, and do that by asking them, what can we start doing, what do we keep doing, and what do we stop doing? Start, keep, and stop. At the same time, seek the ideas from your customers, your patients, your clients, your front-end user of your service, because they and your team members are going to know better than you do as the leader what are the things that we need to change, what are the things we could improve or do differently. It's complete myth that the leader should come up with all the creative ideas. Firstly, most of the leaders I coach are not naturally creative. They're great at coordinating, and that's why they've become leaders. Secondly, even if you were great at creativity, you don't know all the answers. That's the definition of creativity, is to create something. And as soon as you create it, it's about changing it and adapting it. So if you do that with your team of very diverse people, everyone's going to have a different idea, and that bubbling melting pot of thoughts is where you get the best idea that comes out that you can practically apply. So please, leaders, don't be afraid to ask your team. It's not a weakness, it's actually a strength. And when you ask them for their thoughts and you put your thoughts and their thoughts together, there comes this collaboration which creates trust and feels empowering to the team and you to do it together. So give them the parameters of what they can think about creatively, give them the boundaries of things that are not able to be shaped or shifted, and let them come up with new ideas and new ways to do things. A quick little story on this for me is I went to the dentist and I saw just a week ago a way that they could actually create a new process, and I saw it in action. So I'd been to the dentist 6 months earlier, and the process was that you'd sit down in reception and there'd be all these magazines that you could read, like any medical kind of reception, I guess, and there weren't any. So now there's no magazines. They had a sign on the desk that said, unfortunately, due to coronavirus, we have removed the magazines, because obviously that's a common contact point. They also noted on that same plaque that you'll notice in the surgical rooms with the dentist that there are very few pieces of equipment, very few things on the shelves or on the bench tops. We've done that on purpose, again, to limit the points of contact. So by the time I got in there, I felt really confident that they had reviewed their work practices and had adjusted them for COVID-19. Then when I went to pay, I got even more reinforcement that they'd really thought about my experience as the customer, as the patient. When I went to pay with my card, there was a screen over the keypad. I punched in the keys, which normally the receptionist would do to process my private health, and then I also swiped my own card, and when I'd finished doing all of that process, the tape or the plastic cover that was on that payment machine was taken off and destroyed. And so she explained to me that they're doing that for every patient. So this was a very active practice that in a very short period of time had become agile and innovatively thought about the patient's journey through their clinic. And I felt by the end of it very well cared for, very well respected and safe. And at the end, the absolute golden part of this whole process was that the receptionist said, is there anything else, Sherelle, that you've seen in your experience being here today? And mine was a teeth clean. In that whole experience, whether the medical experience or just the admin experience, is there something we could do better? Because we're looking for ideas from our customers, our patients, so that we can keep improving this service while COVID-19 is an issue in our environment. I couldn't believe it. I felt so connected with them, and I felt, that I wanted to look for things that I could help them improve if there was anything, and I'd feel completely comfortable to suggest it. So well done to them. And if we can take a leaf out of their book to get our team together and think likewise about the journey of our customer and our co-workers and how we come together every day in the workplace. So please stop to think innovatively, to create a space for your team to think innovatively, and maybe put that on the agenda for new ideas and maybe issues that are coming up and how could we actually problem solve those as well. This is the time for us to put all our diverse thinking together and really consider how we can reshape our service, because for some of us we may be reshaping our service for the future indefinitely, and some great innovations will come out of this that we will stick to, not just while we have COVID-19 in place, but they may turn out to be actual better ways for us to provide the services we do. Thank you for listening to that little lift on how to connect. I hope that that's been useful for you and you've jotted down some practical ways that you can take that tool and skill back into your workplace. I also hope that you'll take it back to your family, your friends, and also into your community, because our work at Lift is not only about lifting leaders to be successful at work, but also lifting you to lead at home and in your communities so that you are living and leading your bravest life in all those areas. And the last thing I'd like to say to you is, if you haven't already been to our website and downloaded our free Courage to Create Connection ebook, I wrote that over the Christmas break in 2019. I've given you the 10 top best connection tips that I've got for leaders that I know work in a lot more detail than I could give you here in this video. So please download that. It's completely free. There's no catch. I just want you to have that resource at in your toolkit so that you can use it whenever you need to create connection, which is the #1 thing that great leaders do well. Great, thank you. Stay connected with Lift. I look forward to you watching another little lift soon.